All right. How's everybody doing? I hope you're doing great. Thank you for being on the Zoom today. We're going to talk about get the competitive edge, how to create sales mastery, 10 steps to sales mastery. And this is my favorite subject, as all of you know that have worked with me. I became the number one salesperson in the world in health and fitness. From that, I went and built the largest health clubs. And what happened to me is I was the number one salesperson in the world in health and fitness. However, I started owning health clubs. So I had to learn how to train people because one thing is to do it yourself and be really good at it. Another thing is create a system that will help others become great. So I created the investigative selling system real quick. The way I did is I studied opera. I'm a lyric tenor. And in the opera, you not only put on the outfits, but you're on a set, and the goal is to become that person from an opera, like say La Traviata or La Boheme, and you become Adolfo, and you have to like not just take the part, but wear the costumes, and you're in this setting that's exactly like it. So I thought, since I was able to do that and I was the number one salesperson in the world, what would be a great way to teach others that are new or want to get better, that are really good at it, to become better? So I thought the investigator, because what do investigators do? Well, first of all, they go to the crime scene. So you got to go out and sell, right? Then you got to go in, ask a lot of questions, and you become very observant. You gather data. You're more of a consultant. So you're soft selling so you can get more information out of people. You could take all that information, gather the information, come up with a solution, close the case, the sale, and follow up and follow through. And that's what a great salesperson does. So I came up with the investigative selling system, and that book went crazy, and that program went crazy. So that's how we got here. So get the competitive edge, sales mastery. The first thing I want you to do is to realize that you got to be fired up. People don't buy from dead people, right? So the first thing you need to do is have fun with selling. I think people take it too serious. You got to have fun. Look, it is serious, but you want to have fun with it, because when you're having fun, it's kind of like when you see an athlete play loose. When I mean play loose, meaning they're having fun. If you ever notice, the best players make it look easy. Anyone that's done sports, music, art, whatever you do, when you're really good at it, it looks easy. And why is it easy? Because you're relaxed, because you're in your zone, because you make it fun. So I want you to really have fun with selling and get fired up. I always tell students or speakers or companies I work with, before we do a presentation, I say just relax and have fun. So you lower your negativity and open up the positivity, right? So it's very important. Next, I'm going to go through the 10 steps right now, and I'm going to talk to you about them. The first thing I want you to do is pre-plan, prepare, and do your homework. What do you mean, Omar? Well, here we go. First thing is to work on yourself. Jim Rohn used to say to me, work harder on yourself than you do on your job to become and to achieve the dreams you want. Jim Rohn said that. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. I say work harder on yourself than you do on your dreams so you can accomplish all you want. So you have to pre-plan, prepare, do your homework. I talked about it earlier. Have a state management. What's your mood? Check yourself out. Zig Ziglar used to say, take a checkup from the neck up, right? And when you wake up with an attitude of gratitude, a positivity, be happy, right? For me, I start with prayer. Prayer is how I get my day going. But I want you to wake up with an attitude of gratitude, be happy, and choose. That's the word I want you to think about. Choose to be happy, because life is a choice. And whether you choose to be happy or choose to be upset, it's your choice. And remember, that choice is going to carry you through the rest of the day. So I want you to pre-plan, prepare, do your homework, manage your state. So from 1 to 10, 1 being dead, 10 being at the top of your game, where are you? And make sure you're at least a 7 and up before you talk to people about your product or services, right? And I want you to adapt daily rituals of successful men and women. Daily rituals. Like, for instance, time blocking, time boxing. I want you to learn to time box. What is time boxing? Time boxing is a method that Mr. Murphy taught me, that you take certain times, and whenever you have that time, let's say from I wake up in the morning at 7:30, I go right to the gym. That's what I do. That's time boxing. 1 hour for workout. First I start with prayer, of course. Then 1 hour for workout. Then when I'm done, I get ready, and then I block out from 9 to 11 time to call clients. So within that time block, I put how many calls I'm going to make. So I put, I'm going to make 20 calls during from 9 to 11, right? From then, I time block an hour for meditation and learning. I love to learn. I'm a learner. I learn every day. I listen to somebody, whether it's my mentors or myself. Then after that, I go into lunch with a client. I only go to lunch if it's productive. I never go to lunch just to go to lunch. I go to lunch for productivity, whether it's Rotary, BNI, Chamber of Commerce, the CEOs, presidents who are my friends. I only go when it's important, right? Don't waste time. If you're a salesperson and you're selling something that you could sell to a restaurant or a coffee shop, walk into that coffee shop, walk into that restaurant, have lunch, ask for the owner or the manager. They're not going to kick you out. You just bought a sandwich from them, right? So that's a great way to start a conversation with someone that can use your product or services, right? So prepare, pre-plan, prepare, and do your homework. Next, know your products. Make sure you know your products and services. Know your products and services. Make sure you know them. Now, if you're new in the business, your business, whatever industry you're in, you may not know everything. That's okay. Just know enough that you can go out there and be explain it, right? My mentor Bob Proctor used to say to me, unless you can, this is really important, unless you can explain something that you learn to somebody else, you don't know it. I thought that was, I was 19 and a half when he said that to me. He said, unless you can explain what you know to somebody else, you don't know it. And that was really got me. So know your competition if you have any. If you have competition, know your products, know your services, know your competition, know your customers' needs and wants. So what I want you to do is whatever product or service you have, I want you to realize, what do they normally need? Now, we all know that everybody's different. However, every product or service has certain needs and wants that it fulfills. So I want you to think about create a little arsenal of different categories that you've been in, and how did you get their needs and wants, right? And know your objections in advance. So what I want you to do is to write down the top 5 objections you get in your industry, right? And write out the answers. Take the 5 top objections and write out the answers. Why? At least you got a foundation. A foundation. I just gave you gems from the road where you make the sales. Okay. So take your top 5 objections, write them out so you have the answers to them. Okay. Now, the next thing is to turn on, get fired up, whether you're on a Zoom call, whether you're on a phone call, whether you're on face to face, whatever it is, make sure you get fired up. I just did a podcast for someone, and I literally text the gentleman. I said, "Hey, I know that we're friends. Could you please turn your energy up?" Because he had a bad day and he carried it onto his podcast. Now that's going to ruin his podcast. It was his podcast, not mine. So he turned his energy up and he was great. He did a great job, right? So turn on and get fired up. How do you do that? Peak state, peak state. Know your body. Like, for instance, when I was a young man, I had to change my peak state because I would get up really early, work out, go to work, and about 11:30, because I need all this protein, I would go into like a low where my energy was down. So I figured out what I needed to do, and I found out that what I needed to do is have a snack of protein snack at that time to keep my energy up. So I did that. So peak state, where are you from 1 to 10? I said earlier, and make sure you're monitoring your mood meter. Monitor that mood meter. Next, make contact and get their attention. When two people meet, the person that has the most energy, the most enthusiasm, the most positivity is going to take over the conversation by, listen to me, listen up, asking questions. So when you meet someone, get their attention, make contact, get their attention, because people make a decision on whether they're going to buy from you or not within 15 seconds, they say. 15 seconds. So make sure when you meet them, you're the person that has the energy, enthusiasm, and then you ask questions to bring them in. You don't push people in selling. We're consultants. The greatest salespeople are consultants, right? They're consultants. They care about the customer's needs and wants. So make sure that you are consultative selling. That's what I teach, right? Next, connect and become their best friend. How do you do that? Well, it's really important that you give compliments. So if you walk in and you see fishing, like they got fish mounted on the wall, you say, "Wow, did you catch that?" Or they did because there's a whole bunch of them up there, right? Or you see bowling league. Oh, do you bowl? I like to bowl, but I do it like, amateur hour, right? I really do actually. You see golfing. Like my mentor, Tom Murphy, has 3 holes in 1. So he has a picture of those 3 holes in 1 in his office. So I go, wow, you got 3 holes in 1. So what I do is I build the relationship and compliment people. Hey, you golf? How did you get started in golfing? Well, it's a long story. What are we doing? Now, if they're not that kind of warm and fuzzy person, they will tell you right away, hey, listen, I got 20 minutes. Let's get to it. I know they will tell you that. I've been there. So it's really important that you realize that when people are, talking to you, that you connect and become their best friend by building rapport, by communicating, by building the relationship. There's different types of personalities. We don't have time to get into it, but some personalities really want to get, like, for instance, when I speak in Mexico, I'm the trainer for AT&T in Mexico. I do 3 events a year for them in Spanish. The first time I met the CEO and president of Latin America, AT&T, he wouldn't even talk to me. They flew me to Mexico first class, put me at the plaza, and they wouldn't talk business until we had lunch and dinner 2 days. So there you go, culture. So thank God, I'm Cuban, so I knew the culture, and we made it happen. And I've been their trainer now for 10 years, which is great. It's a great account for me. So connect and become their best friend. Listen, I have a little saying. I want you to all think about it. Until you create interest, you are nothing but an interruption. Until you create interest, you are nothing but an interruption. Next, create massive interest. So remember, I told you, how do you do that, Omar? Well, I want you to work on your presentation. Work on your presentation. You got to create interest. How do you do that? Well, the way I teach is you got to talk about your features, benefits, and results. Let me give you a formula. For every time you speak about a feature, I want you to have benefits. But when I say benefits, I mean tons of reasons for them to buy. So let's say you're selling a home and you heard the clients say that they love having family over in a backyard. So you show them a home that's got a beautiful backyard with a great barbecue area. And you walk in the back, you say, you said, Bill and Mary, that you really like to entertain. So this home has a very desirable backyard with a pool, jacuzzi, and it's got all the top Viking barbecue. It's got all this canvas canopy that you can sit here and have a great time no matter what the weather is. And so I want you to realize that this would be a perfect home for you guys because of that. So you have to create a lot of interest and make claims. So you say, this Viking barbecue, which I had by this, I have myself, is $5,000. It's got 6 burners. It's got side burners. It's got a rotisserie. It's got everything you need. And you said you wanted to barbecue a lot. You like the barbecue, right, Bill? Yes, I do. Great. Now, the benefit of this one is because it's a Viking, has a 5-year warranty, and that warranty will make sure that. And by the way, it's transferable when you buy the home, and they'll assure you that you'll have a great barbecue for a long time. By the way, Viking is the best. Don't you agree? So you build that. So feature, benefit, tons of reasons, and then results. That's what you want. Don't you agree? Right? So I want you to think about, don't say them all, by the way. Most people uh, mess up and they say all the features, like, oh, it's got a great pool, it's got a great jacuzzi, it's got a great backyard, it's got a great barbecue, Viking. No, see, I do one at a time. Why? If you give them everything, you can't explain them. You're trying to create yes momentum. You create yes momentum by explaining one at a time to get them saying yes, 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 yes. The hardest thing to say is no when you're saying yes and you keep saying yes. So build yes momentum. Next, qualify. Probe for problems. So what I do is, it's called the PPP, pain pleasure principle. Qualify, probe for the problem, and magnify it. Let's say you're selling cars, SUVs, and a person walks in and he and she have a family and they have an SUV, and you say to them, well, what do you like about what you have now? Well, we have an SUV, as you can see, it's here. We're going to trade it in. And what we like about it, it's got a multimedia presentation uh, system in the back where the kids can watch um, all their videos and whatever they want, or even get online and do streamline and all these different things. And we like that, so because it keeps them entertained. Great. So you say, what do you like? What do you have? What do you have now? Well, we have an SUV. What do you like about it? Well, I like that it has an entertainment center. Blah, blah, blah. What would you like to alter or improve about it? Well, the mileage is terrible. So what we like to do is find a more efficient SUV with a better mileage and more efficient engine, and also safety. Great. And now you say, I'm curious, are both of you the ones involved in making this final decision? And they say yes. And now you go, pain pleasure principle. So you go and say, well, I have this vehicle over here. Not only does it have an entertainment system, but the mileage is amazing. You said you were getting 4 to 6 miles a gallon. This car gets 14 to 20, okay, in the city. So obviously now you fulfilled the pain. So you got pain, pleasure, principle. Find the pain, open it up, fill it with a pleasure, a solution, and that's a PPP, pain, pleasure, principle. See, next thing I want to talk to you about is that people have different states. So you have to learn how to read people better. So how do you read people? Well, you have to watch their body language, their voice inflection, their energy. Are they analytical? Are they social? Are they like to socialize? So read and watch that. So what I want you to do is think about, when you talk to someone, how can I get to know them better? Read their personality type, and then realize that some people buy because they want value. So, for instance, if you were selling Volvos, everyone knows that people that buy Volvos are conservative. Why? Because they're great conservative cars. They're cars that are great on, built well, right? They're cars that are get great mileage. They're cars that last forever. So this person pulls in with an old Volvo. Guess what they want? Another Volvo, or they want to give this Volvo to their kids and buy a new one for themselves. Why? That's their personality. Now, if somebody pulls up in a Mercedes Benz and you're selling Volvos, you have to sell them on the quality of the Volvo, because they might want a little flash, and the Volvo, which is a great car, I've had them before, is not flashy. So you have to find out, why are you trading in this Mercedes? Well, their values have changed. They now have got married and they have a kid or two. So their values have changed. So you see where I'm going? You have to read people, eyes, face, gestures of mouth, body language, volume of speech, their state, like where are they? Things have changed, that kind of thing. All right. Next, create conviction and test close. I want you to create conviction and test close. How do you do that? Well, I told you earlier. I want you to have a test close. Let me explain to you what a test close is. A test close is testing their temperature. Where are you now? You're testing their pulse, their temperature. Where are you now? Are you 40% ready to buy my product and service? Are you 60% ready? Or are you 80%? So you're testing their temperature. Where are you now? Very important. Create conviction and test close. Now, what I want you to do is when you're test closing, you might want to, if you want to sell add-ons, an add-on is something that you add on the basic package of your sale. So that would be more value added selling. So what a lot of you have a product that you could add something to it, like for instance, an additional uh, service on the car or additional paint or whatever it might be. Some paints on cars cost more. So, whatever your value added values are, make sure you got those ready. Once you do the base presentation, then you do the added value presentation. Next, make it real to assume the sale. All right. So, how do I do that? Well, I want you to think about, I told you the 5 objections. So, you're going to give me 5 logical reasons to keep the product or service and 4 emotional reasons to keep the product or service. So, we'll use real estate just because most of you are not in real estate. So, real estate. So, let's say the person comes in and they told you when you're doing your due diligence and your deep dive that they again wanted to downsize their home. They're going from 6 bedrooms to 3 because the kids are out of college and they're on their way. They're doing their own thing. So you don't need this big house, but you'd like to move more towards the water. You're right now 30 minutes away from the water. You'd like to be more like 5-10 minutes from the water. All right. So now I've got 2 reasons. Number 1, they want to downsize. Number 2, they want to move closer to the water. Number 3, oh, and we really like to entertain, so we really want a nice backyard. Great. Number 4, number 3. Next one. Oh, and Bill and I, we love to cook. We love to cook. We've taken some classes. We really like to explore cooking. So now you got right there 4 things. So what I build into my presentation is I walk them into the home and I go, hey, first thing I want to say, guys, look at this kitchen. It's got, it's gas. So as you know, chefs love to cook with gas, not electric. So this has what you want in a gas oven and everything. And it's got all the extra amenities. Look at the size of this Sub-Zero refrigerator. Sub-Zero, as you know, is the best. And it's got 2 sides and it's big and it's got a lot of size for you to put your different things, your fish, meats on the freezer side, on the other side, all your other stuff. So this is a great kitchen. How do you like it? Oh my goodness. Oh my. This kitchen is amazing. This is my dream kitchen. Great. Now, let's go in the backyard. And you said you like to entertain, and this home has a nice big backyard with a barbecue and a covered area for you to entertain. Oh, this is just perfect, Omar. Great. And also, you talked that, you wanted to downsize. Well, this bedroom has 3 master suites. So say the kids want to come home and stay, they each have their own bathroom. So they each have their own bathroom. So you got 3 master suites, which is great, right? So you see what I'm doing? I took everything they told me. I did my due diligence, and now I'm taking them through every step to make sure that I'm covering everything they want. And that's how you sell. Now you could even set added value, say, also, just to share with you, this home has a new roof. And there's nothing like a new roof. It's only 2 years old and it's got a warranty for 20 years. Oh, wow. That's great. That's peace of mind. So now you've got 5 logical reasons to keep it. And then the emotionals, you talk about how they can come and have a nice time with their family. They can cook and have a nice evening of cooking. So you go through all this stuff. Now, you see where I'm going? I can take any product or service and teach you how to do this. That's why I've trained over 5 million people and I train 2/3 of the Fortune 500 companies. Like this week, I'm training 2 of the top 100 companies in the world. So it's very important you realize that I have mastered this now for 30 years and written books on it, 28 best-selling books, and I can customize this to any product or service and teach you how you can teach yourself and others how to become an amazing, amazing top producer. Next, convert objections into commitments. So the way we do that is if you don't do the first 8 steps properly, you'll never close them. See, a lot of people think that selling is about closing people and that's it. But selling is a process and you have to learn to enjoy the process. If you think that you're just going to go in there, and by the way, I have over 200 closes in my head. And in my audios and books, I have 22 in one and 28 in the other. If you think you can just rattle off a bunch of closes and win somebody over, you might sell them, but you're going to get returns and refunds. And I don't want that. So, what I want you to do is to do the first 8 steps to make sure that when you hit the 9th one, you're ready with, like, we'll do the real estate again. Hey, uh, Omar, I think it costs too much. Today most things do. Can you tell me about how much too much you feel it is? Well, Omar, I think the home costs $10,000 too much. Well, let's take that $10,000 and break it into proper perspective. Number one, the home, as you said, has your dream kitchen. Yes? Oh, yes, it does. Wow. And you said you like to entertain, and we found you that backyard is just a great place to entertain. And that's what you want, don't you agree? Yes, it is. And you also said that you wanted to downsize and go from 6 bedrooms to 3 bedrooms. But to add to that, think about it. These bedrooms have their own suites. They're 3 master suites with their own bathrooms, which is a real plus. Yeah, you're right, Omar. And so now, so let's take that $10,000 and break it into proper perspective. How long are you going to live here? They always say, oh, forever. But you know that the average person lives in their home 3 to 6 years, right? That's the statistics. So, but let's say you say to them, they say forever. You say, well, let's say you're going to live here 15 years, right? Oh, we're going to live here forever. Oh, okay. Let's just take that $10,000 and break it into 15 years, break it into proper perspective. If you were to take that $10,000 and break it into 15 years, you're talking about $7,000 a year. I mean, you're talking about $750 a year. $750 a year for this beautiful home. And look, if you want to break it to monthly, you're talking about $550 a month. And I know it sounds a little ridiculous, but we could go weekly. And that breaks down to a couple $100 a week. And I know it might be crazy, but if you take $200 a week and break it into days, 7 days, you're talking about, $10, $12, $13 a day. Are you willing to give up the home of your dreams for $10, $12? I've seen people punch each other. Go, are you kidding me? No, we're keeping this house for $12. For $12 a day, Omar, you're saying this home, if we keep 15 years, only $12 more a day? Yes, we'll take it. So it's all about knowing what you prepared in the beginning, where, from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, now you can convert because you have an arsenal of things that you can use to take from, challenges to needs and wants to, so needs, wants, time frames, budgets, any of those, you get them out in the open so you can handle them, present properly, which I'll teach you, and then convert objections into commitments. The next thing is close and make it easy to create a future. How do you do that? Well, if you do your due diligence and you study your products and services and you do all the training that I'm talking to you about, you're going to get results, right? It's very important. Now you do use the closes. I want to think it over. You want to think it over? That's fine, Mr. Johnson. Obviously, you wouldn't take your time thinking this thing over unless you were seriously interested, would you? I mean, I'm sure you're not telling me that just to get rid of me, are you? Just to clarify my thinking, what phases, opportunities you want to think over? Is it the quality of service I'll render? No, Omar, you've been great. Is it the home? No, the home has everything we want. Please level with me. Could it be the financial aspects? Yes, Omar, it is. What is it? Is it that you can't afford it? Or you can't justify it? Well, Omar, it just costs too much. Well, today most things do. Can you tell me about how much too much you feel it is? Well, Omar, I think it's about $10,000 too much. And now you do a reduction to the ridiculous, right? Now, those are three of my closes in my book that I own because Tom Hopkins gave me the rights to anything that's in my book because I was the only authorized speaker in the world for 11 years for Mr. Hopkins. So I customized them and made them more modern. So if you master everything I'm talking to you about, these 10 steps, and then go into the closes that I teach, game over. In fact, my students that I train, the companies that I train, tell me that every time they go out to sell, the ones that have mastered my training tell me that when they go out to sell, they feel like they have an unfair advantage on people. And that's true. So I want to go a little deeper because I think that a lot of people don't realize how important time boxing, time and territorial management is. So let's touch it. The most important sale you will ever make is yourself. You. So get prepared, pre-plan and prepare, as I said. How do you do that, Omar? Well, make the difference between working smarter, not harder. So what I want you to do is time box, time box. And the first thing I want you to do is to listen to audios. All of you that are here on this call have my package. So go listen to investigative selling. I would love to see you guys every morning after you do if you pray, which I pray, after prayer, I listen to one of my mentors for at least 30 minutes or myself. And I do that because I want to prepare myself for the day. And if you own a company and you're a leader, you want to prepare yourself to lead others because people will follow you if you're prepared. People love to be part of something bigger than they are, and people want to feel valued. The way you feel valued is by teaching someone something anytime you get a learning moment that you can be prepared and teach them something, they're going to follow you. And that's where loyalty begins, just so you know. So make a difference between working smarter, not harder. How do you do that, Omar? Well, what are some of the ways to save and invest time? Number one, I told it, I'll say it again, time boxing. And within your time boxing, make sure your activities. So, like I told you earlier, in the morning I wake up, power of prayer. Then I go work out. Then I get ready. Then I'll make calls, right? But all those are broken down, right? Prayer, 30 minutes, working out, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, calls, 2 hours, following up and following through, 1 hour, lunch with a client, 1 hour, afternoon, 2 to 4, more Zoom calls, right? Then whatever it is, go out to talk to your clients, whatever it is. So time box, number one, and then put activities within the time boxing. So here's some ways. Eliminate unnecessary activities. So if you are someone that owns a business, that you go out and drive to different places, sites, make sure that you do them in, if you can, okay? Sometimes you can't. Do them in chronicle description, meaning you go in the area that you're going. So boom, 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 boom. If it's time boxing, then make sure you're making things like calls, Zooms, closings, all these different things at certain times. Eliminate anything. So here's what I want you to do. Once a month, I want you, and I do this, everything I tell you, I do. Once a month, I'll track everything I do for 1 week. And that 1 week, after I track everything I do, I then look at it. and I eliminate unnecessary activities. Like, for instance, uh, Benjamin Franklin had a great idea. He used to worry a lot. He was a worrywart. And so he decided, I'm going to write down everything I worry about in the beginning of the month and see what really happened by the end of the month. Well, he found out that 95% of the things that he worried about never happened. So he started writing this down every the beginning of the month, and he started not worrying so much, and he literally eliminated worrying and would just be aware and be ready when things came up and be a professional problem solver. So eliminate unnecessary activity. So, for instance, when I work out, if I'm on a stationary bike, I'll have my mail there, and I'll open up my mail, and I'll look through my mail, things like that, or thank you cards from people, that kind of thing, right? If I'm working out with the gym, I have my headsets on, so I'm listening to one of my mentors or myself while I'm working out, mentally preparing myself for the rest of the day, right? Um, Always try to eliminate unnecessary activities and do two things at once, which is my next part. Combine activities. Try to do two things at once so you're ready for anything. Combine and get rid of, so that 1 week that I'm telling you about, you look at it and look at anything that you can eliminate, unnecessary activities, and then combine activities where we can. Like, for instance, taking a walk on the beach and listening to your audios, right? Or have a book audio, whatever it is, right? Combine activities. Next, here's the 12 words. My mentor, Tom Murphy, gave me these 12 words when I was 19 and a half years old. And he said, I want you to live by these words. He says, live by the word number one, commitment. Commitment is focused on excellence, right? And he gave me these 12 words, and I used to put them on my SUV, on my cars, on in my where I'm getting ready in the bathroom, in the kitchen, on the refrigerator, on the desk. And here are the 12 words that he gave me. He said, here you go. I must do the most productive thing possible at every given moment. Where's the rest of it? Well, I'll give it to you. I must do the most productive thing possible at every given moment, right? I must do the most productive thing possible at every moment. So if your goal is to go on a cruise and relax, be there. If your goal is to get on a call and close a deal, be there. If your goal is to get on a plane like me for the next week and speak at different places, be there. When I'm in front of an audience, I am there for them. I am 100% there. So make sure that whatever you're doing your best. And I learned that from Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy says, your goal is to be the best, be the best, be the best, be the best every day. Do it better, do it better. I do it better, I do it better. Everything you do it better. He said, Omar, I was 20 years old when he taught me that. If you will do this, I promise you, between that and all the mentors that you have, you will be a great success. And thank goodness, thank God, I did it, and I am. So I'm very fortunate, very blessed, and very humbled. Now, next, how can you manage your time more effectively? So, what I do is every night before I finish my day, now, some of you have kids. So, if you're driving home and you're sitting in the driveway, take out a pad or your iPad or your laptop. But I still use paper. You know, I still like to use my little paper here. And I write down because I tell my staff to put it online for me. But I write down the 7 most important things I must do the next day. Now, I do that every day. I've been doing that since I was 20 years old, guys. I'm in my 60s. You can imagine how good I am at it, right? So, what does that do? It takes 10 minutes a day to plan your day, but discipline all day. Time management doesn't take a lot of time. It's a paradigm shift. Remember Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. A paradigm shift is nothing but changing your habits, a multitude of habits. Remember, it takes 21 days to make a change. So if you want to change a habit that's bad, keep the good ones, of course, right? Like working out, walking, things like that. But if you have a habit that's bad, change it. It takes 21 days to change. Next, Plan how much time to allocate to each task. So, some tasks are bigger than others. So you can't, do that task in one day. So let's say you're building a new program or a new system or a new home or a new building. That's going to take time. So you break it down into chunks of what you need to do every day. The goal is to do that. Next, I want you to eliminate the time, estimate the time needed for each task. Estimate the time. Next, if larger tasks, take care of them in manageable chunks, right? Like we just talked about. Next, work on the most important items first. What is that? GTM, get the money, close deals. It makes me crazy when I meet people that are mistaking activity with results. You got to get money, got to make money. Give me any company that is making money. They can make mistakes, but give me a company that's not making sales. If they make mistakes, they're in trouble. So I want you to realize that you want to always be GTM, get the money, get the money, get the money, right? Work on the most important items first. Then remember the old saying, you sow what you reap. You don't reap what you reap, right? In the Bible, it says you sow what you reap. So you don't reap what you reap. So remember, when you're closing people, make sure you're still sowing seeds out there and building that crop. So you always have an endless pipeline of sales, right? It makes me crazy when I see salespeople, when they get a few sales, they worry about the sale and not keep prospecting. Always be prospecting, right? Always, because that's where you keep the momentum going. You got to have a funnel that's always full, face to face, referrals, you know, social media, branding, marketing, whatever it is, phone call, whatever it is, keep that funnel full so it's always full, right? Next, intensify your successes. If you're having a bad day, if you're having a bad week, the only way to get out of it is by working your way out of it. There's no other way, guys. Work your way out of it. If you're having a bad week, if you're having a bad day, raise your activity, right? 10x it, 10x it, 4x it, whatever you need to do. Crank up the volume, lift up the volume, amplify, get more activity. The only way to get out of a slump is activity, activity, activity. Intensify that moment of success. What did you see, hear, feel in that experience? I like to do something that my mentor Tom Murphy taught me. I have in a drawer at my home on the right, all, not all, 10% of my successes. I can't fit them all because it's been a while. So what I do is I put my top successes business on the right drawer. And whenever I'm having a bad day, I take them out and I look, oh, you did this. Oh, you did this. Oh, you did this. Oh, you did this. And then it gets you back, gets you back. And then I'm ready to go. And then I change my state. And then I listen to excerpts, motivational excerpts. And then I go out and I do activity to turn it around. Because what I want you to do is to master habits of successful men and women. Because if you will condition your mind and body for the habits of successful men and women, when you do go into a slump, you can't help to come back, right? And like my dear friend Les Brown says, a setback is nothing to get you ready for a comeback. So if you will master the daily rituals that I teach, the daily habits that I teach, you will always come out of a slump by doing the things that failures won't. Do the things that failures won't, and practice the habits of successful men and women and be that champion because all of you have greatness within you. You all have greatness within you. I was with Zig Ziglar before he passed, and he was born in Yazoo, Mississippi. I don't know if you know that. He lived in Texas, but he was born in Yazoo, Mississippi. And we were there doing an event, and a car was in front of us, had a big bumper sticker, and it said, "God don't make no junk." That's so true. God made you in his image. You are great. You have greatness within you. You have so much potential. We all have the same 24 hours. It's what you do with that 24 hours. So, go out there and make God proud and make yourself proud and make your family proud and make your community proud and make it happen because you got what it takes. You have greatness within you. So go out there and make it happen. And remember to put yourself in a positive shield. When you fail, it happened, it's over. Next, Zig Ziglar taught me that. He said, you're going to fail because if you were out there and you're selling and you're working and you're making things happen, failure is part of success. So the key is to succeed more than you fail. So go out there and when you fail, it happened. It's over. Next, learn from it, right? And some of you, and I have too, I've failed and we've gotten our butts kicked. But the key is to be aware that that failure is there only to teach you a lesson and nothing else, and learn from it. But don't make that mistake again. All right? When you make a mistake, learn from it, be present and forward, present and forward. Oprah Winfrey, I got to sit with her on the beach one time in the Bahamas, and we were there for her niece's wedding. And I said to her, Oprah, you're so talented. You're such a great person. Give me one thing I could share with my students. And she said, Omar, I never look in the rearview mirror because when you look in the rearview mirror, you're creating emotions that were bad for you. And number two, you're missing a step because you're looking in the rearview mirror. You're not looking forward. So when you make a mistake, learn from it, make the adjustment, and move present and forward and make it happen. Now, guys, I'm going to continue this talk. I'm going to do a few lessons on this 10 steps, but I want you to see I've got I want you to get into character every day. Top producers play successful roles and tell yourself, it's going to be a great day. 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 Just sit up and do it and just get up and tell yourself it's going to be a great day because it is a great day. Zig Ziglar used to crack me up. He'd say, if you don't think it's a great day, there was a lot of newspapers then, right? Things have changed. And he'd say, go get your newspaper, open it up, skip the front page because you're really going to be negative. Just go to the obituaries, and I'm sure there's someone in there that would love to change with you. They'd love to change places with you. He was a great guy. I really miss him. And then, of course, get turned on to influence others. We must first influence ourselves. It begins with you. Raise your energy from 1 being dead, 10 being on top of your game. Make sure you do that. Now, listen, guys, I have a couple spots. I'm looking to mentor individuals or corporations that want to be mentored by me one-on-one. So here it is. Are you ready to become my next success story? If you are, all you got to do is email this. You will learn from me how to break down barriers that hold you back from becoming wealthy in all areas of your life, spiritual, health, happiness, and wealth. I'm not just about money. Next, how to get organized and master your time and territorial and maximize your profits. How to turn bad decisions from your past into opportunities and overcome fears. How to create multiple streams of income. How to become rich in half the time by using my modern method. Get real, get rich. Recurring income, equity, appreciation, leverage, other people's time, other people's contacts, other people's money, and have MISs. I have 7 MISs. What's a MIS? MIS is multiple streams of income. MIS is not a job. MIS is not another job. It's not another 3 jobs. MIS, multiple streams of income, is earning money while you sleep. That's what an MIS is. Great. So here's where you go if you want one-on-one mentoring with me. I only have a couple positions available right now. One-on-one mentoring with Omar Periu. For more information, go to info@omarperiu.com or go to omarperiu@gmail.com or info@omarperiu.com or omarperiu@gmail.com and say, hey, Omar, I want to be mentored by you. By the way, it's not free, but it's well worth it. And I'm very reasonable, and I love working with champions.